4 rounds in, 1 to go. It's been grueling, it's been brutal, it's been hard in the mouth, and it's been what it promised, a brand new era in Australian sprint car racing. There's been 3 different winners in 4 rounds so far. Lockie McHugh won the first 2. Brock Hallett simply rocked the third. Then South Aussie Ryan Jones scored arguably his biggest win by grabbing round 4 at Avalon. Today we head to the mega Premier Speedway Warrnambool to decide who's the man. Hallett's hopes received a setback at Avalon, but the GW Racing 5 is still alive as he chases the SRV number 1. It's been the Lockie and Brock rock so far, but anything can happen at the Bull. This is gonna be cool. Tasmanian sprint car racer Tate Frost has been around motor racing his whole life.
Really got drilled into me pretty early. Starting karts in around 10 to 12. Always watched Dad and my grandfather, back when they're Tirana and Mustang days, and always watched from the hill down in Tasmania. So, and then Dad eventually got racing sprint cars later on, and that's really where my passion grew. Racing those little 1/16 style ones on the bank, and always wanted to get out there. So, I reckon that's where it sort of started.
Frost was a rising star in the national bitumen karting scene before sprint cars took over.
Looking back on it, it was crazy the amount of racing we were doing, how many weekends we were away, because you'd have a test weekend and then usually fly home, go back to school for a week. It's more dedication then than now, really. So the amount of time you're away.
The time on the bitumen has helped some of his craft on the dirt.
Obviously the driving styles are different, but I think it sort of helps me when the track slows down and I can sort of slow my hands down, because in the car you got to keep the car as straight as you can. Obviously Dad drilled into me also, just every time you move the wheel it's a 10th here, 10th there. So once the track slows down you got to keep your car straight. I feel like that helps me in those conditions, but when it's heavy it's something different. You just got to be foot down and maniac on the wheel pretty much. So
Frost knows it's a 5-year apprenticeship at least to be consistent in sprint cars.
I'm at my 6th season now, so obviously I've done a fair few laps. We've travelled heaps, so absolutely, like some people I think everyone sort of develops in their own time, some earlier than some. I feel like I'm around that, as you said, last year I've sort of started to progress more, adapting to the car. I know what I should be feeling in the car, what changes, you still have your struggle nights, you're not comfortable all the time, so you just try to adapt the best you can. So I feel like that's more what I've learned is the last couple of years, is to sort of be more patient, stop and think about what the car's doing and what you're doing to make them important changes. So after having my first win, obviously your mindset changes from back when we first started coming over. I was pumped just to make the A main, and once you get the win, that's all you want to do, and when you don't win, you're disappointed.
Without his family and supporters, none of this is possible.
Yeah, huge dedication from my family, especially Warrnambool Crane and Graham Molyneux. He's given us a base here, so we're able to keep the truck and car on his farm here. So it's obviously having a base just makes everything a lot easier than living out from a hotel or something, So when we come over here 4 years ago, you know, Dad didn't want me to stay in Tasmania, just wanted me to grow my experience in driving, obviously doing more laps against different cars, better drivers. It's able to help me, as we talked about, the evolution of progressing the sport. You know, having, obviously, if you want to win consistently, you got to race the best guys to learn the most you can out of every night and every driver.
What's it say on there? What does it say? My name? What?
Yeah.
Roll 1, scene 1.
You're an actor, man.
Yeah. Always wanted to pursue this dream.
Is it a dream?
Yeah, well, that's true. I'm living it now.
25-year-old Bendigo racer Rusty Hickman has been around racing his whole life. Literally.
Dates back to probably the night I was born. The old man nearly missed my birth because he was starting on the front row of the A main at Bendigo, which is totally understandable. I get it. I don't think Mum did. I started racing go-karts when I was 6 and then got sick of that and raced motorbikes for a while up till I was 12 and then also dabbled. I mean, this whole time the old man's been racing. So then sort of just showed up one day with the junior sedan and for me and my sister to share, and guess what, that was the start of the speedway stuff. So me and Dad could race on the same nights when we could, and then that sort of started that father-son racing career. Even though I've been crewing for him on the sprint cars since he ever started, which I was 10 running around the pits. I was saying I was 16, so yeah, and then had a bit of a practice out at Rushworth in a sprint car when I was like 13, I think, and that's when I got the bug. And 16th birthday, the old man dummied up a license with Mandy Searle with the 360s, the All-Stars, and on my birthday I ran my first sprint car race and ended up on the lid, but it's all the memories.
Like any competitive person, there's a singular focus for Rusty on Speedweek.
Winning's always good. Winning's always good because it means I get to do donuts. I like doing those. But winning it, to be honest, I think I've forgotten how much it even pays. I don't really worry about the money, but the prestige of winning it first off the bat, that'll be pretty sick. But really, if we can just keep going with how we are, finishing up the front on the podiums when we can, this is what I mean. I'm going into this race and this season just not really caring about the results as such. Just blessed to be out there, to be able to race and to be in the car and to have the opportunities that I have. And really, we finish where we finish, and as long as we keep wheeling it in the trailer and not wrecking gear, it's a win in the end. But that tops it.
The final round of the Brandt Sprintcar Speedweek is traditionally held on New Year's Day at Premier Speedway Warrnambool. This iconic 440-metre clayway in Allansford, Victoria, is the home of the annual Warrnambool Classic and features a large Turn 4 grassed spectator hill called Mount Max, named after the city's most famous son, Max Dumesny. Built 54 years ago, Premier Speedway is our host venue as the brand new era of sprint cars comes down to the wire. It's cowboy up, it's ride the rim, it's the bull. Warrnambool racer Peter Doukas is nearing a decade in this sport.
I've been racing sprint cars 9 years now. Still loving it and sucked in every time. That's why we keep coming back.
So why? What is it about them? Why is it
you're coming up on 10 years now. Why is that?
Just the competitiveness. You always want to get out there and do your best. No matter what sort of sport it is, I'm always out there to do what I can. You don't like giving up or settling for a bad result. You always just keep coming back and trying your hardest.
Doukas' team is made up of family and mates, all with the same objective.
Yeah, that's right. We're made up of a lot of family and close friends, and supported financially by family and close friends around the Warrnambool area, and that's the only reason why I can keep coming back and racing, really. It's
Pete's first year as a pro contract Speedweek driver. This is the deep end of the sprint car pool, and he knows it.
It means sort of it's the next part of us, I think. And the way things are going with the sport, I think we need to look more into this path. And yeah, so this is it.
Growing up in Warrnambool, there are two main sports.
It's either footy or sprint cars. And it started out as mum and dad took me as a young kid and out to Premier, and the juniors were on, and then that's like, yeah, I want one, can we get one, and all that. And that's, mum and dad they gave in, and that's how it all started.
So how does he put the sprint car experience into words?
That's hard to explain, I suppose. It's like nothing else. Yeah, it's a lot of fun and a lot of adrenaline, and yeah, that's why you do it. The bit why you love it is when you push back in the seat, and it's a nice juiced up track, I suppose. Although that's not what I like racing wise, but yeah, that's why you really enjoy doing it, that feel.
Now he's a pro contract driver. Does this change his outlook on race night?
No, I think you got to keep it the same. You can't afford to change and think differently. You just got to keep going with what we're doing. Feeling a bit more confident lately. I've got some better help in the pits, which is, it's better for me, it takes pressure off me, and yeah, hopefully start going upwards.
Duke has a very celebrated member of his team on board.
David Murcott's now crewing for us, and just his experience is so much value to me, and just that reassurance, that second opinion and voice in the background, and just giving you a bit of confidence that way. And yeah, as I said, it takes the pressure off me.
So what ambitions does Doukas have for Speedweek?
There's no real set goal. It's just, we want good results, and yeah, don't settle for a bad night. We just got to keep going.
You pumped?
Yeah, I think I actually am. Yeah, as I said, that having that help in your corner is, makes you more keen.
Queensland sprint car gasser Jy Corbet is a newcomer to this game, and he knows there's a lot to learn.
We're 3 years in now. I think we're definitely progressing. There's a lot of years left. I have him within myself, so just got to keep taking the race meetings as learning curves and just keep pushing forward.
Corbet has an experienced team behind him who worked with former Australian champion Andrew Shirley.
They've got a lot of experience behind them. I think they had 28 years within the racing, so their experience compared to ours is a lot more. So all you have to do is really rely on those guys and sort of let them take the reins and see what they can do.
So how does Corbet explain the sprint car experience?
It's just wicked like no other. Just being able to be flat out and just having nothing but the car just underneath you, and when you're going out for qualifying at Perth or somewhere fast, it's just nothing but just quiet, and just with the car, it's a pretty wicked feeling, really.
Apart from the speed, what's the toughest part about this game?
I'd say the crashes. The crashes are definitely, you have a good run for, a couple meetings, and you might come unstuck one night, and it might be your fault, might be someone else's, but just in the end, it's just a real kick in the, But it's just, you got to rebuild and, get your confidence back and go on to the next one.
The sheer performance of these cars is what makes them addictive to drive.
It's definitely been wide open in qualifying, or just at a massive track. Just being flat out, it's just, there's no feeling quite like it, really.
Speedweek for Jy Corbet is a big challenge as a newcomer.
Jam-packed nights, really. Just, 6 nights of just just absolute madness. So, you know, going to each track each night, just trying to, you know, roll up and be fast straight away is going to be a massive challenge, but, you know, that's what makes it the sport.
Jy's dad, Andrew, is his biggest supporter and maybe also his harshest critic.
I'm pretty grateful for, you know, my whole family. You know, they make it possible for myself to go racing, and, you know, we have a massive setup. So, you know, he's always putting in the hard hours and, you know, making sure that the business is still rolling. So, you know, without him and, yeah, the rest of my family, I'd be in a bit of strife.
Describing a sprint car to someone outside the industry isn't easy.
It's quite difficult, to be honest. They don't really, you sort of get reverted back to an F1 car. But, no, you just got to say it's the things with the wings and try and make sense of that.
Stepping into the sprint car has been a massive culture shock for Corbet.
Never really raced anything with acceleration like this before, so it's just, yeah, like driving it for the first time, it was just a bit of an eye-opener, but now I'm just used to it, so still a cool feeling, but, you know, at least you're not yourself every time you go out.
His ambition for Speedweek is simple, even though the result isn't.
So, I mean, you just go out to win, try and win. You know, I don't know every guy out there in the field is just rocking up to win, so, you know, to try and, you know, be in the same mindset as those guys and, you know, try and put together 6 good nights is going to be a real challenge.
Brock Hallett's inclusion into Speedweek was a last-minute situation. The GW Racing Kaiser Racing Wheels XXX was originally headed in another direction, but the team swung the transporter wheel towards Murray Bridge for the opener, and since then have been giving leader Lockie McHugh plenty of havoc. If not for a DNF at Avalon for round 4, Hallett has been a model of consistency. With 2 podiums and a win so far, the 2023 Warrnambool Classic winner still has a mathematical chance of stealing the series win, and he's driven to create an upset in the Slade Shocks rocket ship. Evergreen South Aussie Dillon made a last-minute switch from his own car to race with the Parrott family racing team at the 11th hour before Speedweek.
Obviously, 2 races as a lead-up makes it very, very challenging, but, you know, this car's the same brand as mine with the same motors. I've worked with Michael and Scott before, so hopefully we can hit the ground running and have a successful week.
Speedweek has been a feature of Dillon's stellar career pretty well since its inception. He knows how tough it is through 2 different eras.
It's always fierce, you know, like I've raced against Max and Brooke in their heyday, and now I race against Lockie and Jock and all of them in their heyday. So, and, you know, James, so many people. So it's very comparable, I guess. It just gets tougher and tougher, but the names change.
After 21 years in the saddle, Dillon knows how tough it is, but still has that burning desire to win in sprint cars. Running
my own team and all that, you know, is always a lot of work. You know, it's the driving of the cars and competing is what I love doing. So the rest can be, you know, a necessary job, I guess. But, you know, all in all, I still love it. So, you know, still motivated. They're pretty wild. They're, you know, when you accelerate, they accelerate like nothing ever. My favourite part's the green flag, you know. Like it's good to start the front row, but the green flag when you're in mid-pack, it's a pretty wild experience like nothing else. They're just a weapon, you know, just a huge motor, huge tyres, huge wing, no weight. You know, that's about it.
In terms of Brandt Sprintcar Speedweek then?
Well, I'd like to win it. You know, hopefully we can be consistent and have, you know, like everyone's saying they want to have top 5s, you know, that's how you win it. So obviously your worst race sort of determines where you come in the end of a series. So, you know, to be consistent and win a few rounds and win the series is the goal.
So how is Luke different as a driver 20 years on?
I can roll out of the throttle now, so I can keep the wheels under me. Never used to be able to do that. So I don't know, like I'm probably less aggressive than I used to be. You know, as you get older, you have to really tell yourself to get up on the wall and do what you used to do in your 20s naturally. So I guess I've changed. Like I sort of do it a lot easier now, but, you know, especially places like Murray Bridge and probably Tolma, you know, I haven't been there yet. Taking it easy or doing it easy is not going to win the race for you. You've got to really man up, especially at Murray Bridge. It's nuts. So, you know, so we'll see.
And what is the challenge of Speedweek?
Well, racing night after night is different than what we're used to. So, it's a bit of a change of lifestyle. You wake up somewhere different. You got to find accommodation, or stay in a caravan, or stay at people's houses, and so that's the challenges. It's just a different lifestyle, doing what we do on the weekends all week.
Can you win this thing?
Yep.
Tickford Racing supercar star Cam Waters is really getting a handle on this sprint car caper. He's been on the front row for the last 2 A-mains. So when you're leading at Avalon, you got no idea what's going on with the track, you got no engineer in your ear. How different is that, and what do you prefer?
Yeah, I like kind of trying to work it out for myself. You're always looking around in Speedway to try and see if there's a bit of grip somewhere else, or you can kind of hear a car around you, down the bottom or up top. So you're probably thinking a little bit more in the sprint car, trying to find the grip. Where the supercar is probably more precision, and you got to be, on it a little bit more. But you've also got your engineer to help you. So, like I said, it's very different, the two sports. But I love the part of the sprint cars. How challenging it is, how fast-paced the nights are, and how much you got to adapt.
For Jordyn Charge, Sprintcar Speedweek is something his family is deeply connected to.
Obviously, as a kid, I was watching, even Dad run around in a 360 back in the day, and knowing the big names that used to run, obviously with World Series and Speedweek in general, we used to follow the whole thing. So it's a dream come true to obviously be, partake in it.
His own sprint car life started earlier than most. His mum and dad had a plan to have him spend time behind the wheel before he could join the big time.
13 years old when Dad told me that he brought a sprint car for me, which was unbelievable. We obviously brought that off Matthew Reid back in the day, and from there we ended up taking a few laps, obviously around Breadline Raceway in Ballarat, and also Bacchus Marsh Speedway. And because of that, it was just get as many laps as I possibly could, and from there, obviously did about 1,000 laps before our first day. At 16 years and 1 day, we went to Sydney and had our first race, and then now we're here.
Now 25, Charge is still in love with these cars.
They're just unreal. They're amazing. They're a beast, I guess you could say. They 900 horsepower between your legs is just unreal. So they wheel stand. They bike up and want to tilt around and spin out and flip over. They just obviously, they're very wild. The adrenaline's just insane. It's second to none. Like getting, first strapping in, putting the helmet on, you're about to push out onto the track, and everything kind of fades away. And then as soon as the motor starts, you just know that you're in for a ride.
Charge has been racing in various Australian locations and the USA in the last 12 months.
We ended up going to the States. I did about 14 shows over there in a 3-week span. And we did 9 days straight or 8 days straight, and obviously went over there, raced. I got a lot of experience over there with some really fast cars, and the tracks were very different. Learned a lot. Obviously got in contact with a few of the guys over there, which were really welcoming, and we just obviously progressed a lot over there, and we come back here to Darwin and had a really good season up there, and obviously, it's just to help us out with my racing back home.
His ambitions for Speedweek, though he knows it's a tough ask, are singular.
To win it, of course. I just want to do well, and you go out there to win races. Even if you start off new, you just want to win. That's why you're here. You want to be the best. So obviously, if I can get couple wins, that'd be awesome. I'm not saying that's going to happen, as everyone knows how hard it is to race with these guys. But I'd love to be in the pointy, the top end, and we're just going to try our best.
Whenever he rolls into the pits, Gold Coast Queenslander Lockie McHugh was a marked man, mostly because of that big number 1 on the car.
Coming to Australia 1 was something I worked hard for a long time, and fell short of it a few times, really close, and second, and led a lot of laps at Australian titles. So finally getting the 1 on the tail tank was really special, and the car turned out great. Errol, our team owner, he sort of had a lot to do with the design of the car, and I reckon it looks pretty mean.
McHugh was a hot favourite for the Speedweek crown. So what are his ambitions?
Speedweek's a tough gig, and just never had a great week overall where we've maybe had a mechanical failure or something one night and it's kind of dropped us out of the points. But yeah, so hoping that we have a smooth week this year and can hopefully come out on top.
For the second generation champ McHugh, being hard on the throttle in a sprint car is the ultimate.
For me, I like racing with other competitors probably the most. Getting in a good slide job battle or something like that, that's what really kind of excites me, and not so much just driving the cars around anymore. It's sort of been doing it for so long now that driving them around just seems like an everyday thing almost. But getting in a great racing battle with another competitor is definitely exhilarating.
The chemistry with crew chief Nick Speed is vital.
Nick and I work together really well, and I guess we kind of think on the same wavelength, and kind of shows in our results that there's no real tension between us. We're always thinking of doing the same thing to the car. Every time we sort of mention an idea, either me or him already thought about doing it. So I think that's been a small part of our success together, for sure. Nick's obviously rebuilt some new cars for this season, and we've still got a bit of a different motor program for us now. With Errol taking over the team, we inherited a Newman racing engine, and we still have two of our Garet motors from the ECP days, and we have another brand new Newman motor that should be arriving here in January. So excited to get that engine as well, and then so we've got a bit of a mixed deal nowadays, but still a really good program overall.
Gone are the days of open trailers to get your sprint car to the track. These days, a sprint car transporter is a rolling workshop, motel and parts warehouse all in one. When you're on the road like these teams, you have to take everything with you because you can be on the race trail for days and even weeks at a time. As the teams head to Premier Speedway for the final round, those big rigs are locked and loaded.
There
Americans Chase Randall, Riley Goodnow and Garet Williamson all raced weekly at the sprint car capital of the world, Knoxville Raceway. Williamson has won there and wants to at Warrnambool as well.
I want you to just reference the Knoxville connection between you and Riley and Chase.
Yeah.
The three of you guys are all weekly Knoxville races. I think it's super cool for Knoxville Raceway.
Garet down there in a quick second.
He's going to hop up top. Give it up for him, race fans. Garet Williamson. What a drive for Garet. What a day for Garet Williamson.
2 years ago, we all ran there weekly, and we all chased the championship. And I think Riley chased one in 410s, and me and Chase's were in the 360. But yeah, we've all raced each other for quite a long time, almost all the way back to our micro days. We all ran into each other at some point. So now on a much bigger scale, and here we are in Australia racing against the best Australian drivers in the world, and racing, I guess you can almost all call us Knoxville guys. We all ran there for quite some time now. So kind of just hopefully make Knoxville proud and everyone back home proud.
So it's all come down to this, the final round of Brandt Sprintcar Speedweek at Premier Speedway Warrnambool. And wow, fantastic crowd has turned out to be a part of all of this. It's been a tremendous series and the points really come down to the wire. Australian champion Lockie McHugh leads with 900 points over Brock Hallett in second with 754. Huge crowd here on Mount Max. Ryan Jones currently sits in third, Luke Dillon fourth, Marcus Dumesny fifth. You go back to Daniel Pestka, Rusty Hickman, Cam Waters, Glenn Sutherland and Garet Williamson, your top 10. Fireworks here at Premier in front of a great crowd to kick off 2025. Huge thanks to our friends at Brandt. Value driven as we take a look at the four wide and a fantastic shot of Mount Max off to the right, the main straightaway here at Premier Speedway Warrnambool. Been some impressive drives tonight. Geordie Ray, the young man out of Bannockburn in Victoria, qualifying right up at the pointy end of the field. Clinton Bosch Isuzu, Brandt Pace Vehicles about to get off the circuit. Car park is full, the highway relatively quiet compared to what's about to happen on this ribbon of clay that is known as Premier Speedway. Jack Lee, tremendous job for him to be on pole alongside Geordie Ray. Garet Williamson, what a job he's done tonight. He starts on that second row. Veal quickly jumps up into P3. Luke Dillon, stout as always, running back there in that fifth position. And your race leader right now is Geordie Ray. What a job this young man is doing in that DirtX Industries Hunter Cuthill, Larrard Campbell Automotive entry. And Laird Campbell Automotive right on board with Geordie as we see right now. Williamson going by Jack Lee. Luke Dillon upstairs in the TML Transport. Parrot Family Racing, number 98. That's that green and black entry. Wow, look at this. McHugh starting to make his way forward as well in the Australia 1 for SRV Road Freight. You can see joining in this battle as well is Jackson Delamont, always racy. The young man out of Young in New South Wales. Everybody upstairs in turn 1 and 2. And the final round of Brandt Sprintcar Speedweek. Jamie Veal coming after Geordie Ray now. And Ray will really get tested. He's a relative newcomer to the sport. And the guy behind him, in many ways, is an absolute supremo around his home track, Premier Speedway Warrnambool. The SWI number 35 Maxim, chasing down the Ken and Vanessa Hutchins owned. Oh, number 7, you see then. Lockie McHugh tagged the wall getting into turn 3. They're coming up on lap cars now. Veal is your leader. It happened so quickly. Ray going back to the bottom, trying to get a run back at Veal as they come up on Dane Court, the lap car. And you can now see Garet Williamson lurking with intent as well. And that Chalex Holmes KevTech Performance Gen West 44. He goes through to second place. They're in dense lap traffic. Williamson to the left out of Columbia, Missouri, driving for Tim Van Ginneken. Oh, wow. Very easy to tag the wall. We just saw Hayden Pitt do that in behind Jamie Veal coming out of turn 4. Williamson making a bit of ground here. You take a look at one of the very best around this place, Jamie Veal, right up on the wall in that SWI car. Some very talented people on the spanners, Gleno Inglis and, wow, throw in the mix, Juddy, who's been with the team for such a long time. Sammy Gardner as well. He's got a good little team behind him. And we flash through the traffic now. A lot going on here. We just saw Jack Lee, Glenn Sutherland, Jackson Delamont. The wall cam shows just how intense it is up on the high groove. There's your leader, the 35 car, Jamie Veal. Williamson trying to stay with him. You just see Cam Waters back in the distance there as well. This is the battle between Luke Dillon and Lockie McHugh. They are right up on the wall. I mean, perilously close to the concrete. McHugh trying to put it back to the inside on Dillon. McHugh had to come out of the B main for the previous round at Avalon. He stormed forward. It was a night of drama at Avalon, that's for sure. Just watching Garet Williamson put the slider on Warrnambool's Peter Doukas. And everybody pretty well upstairs until they need to pull the trigger on a slide job down low. Dillon and the black and green machine has been resolute during Brandt Sprintcar Speedweek, swapping from his own ride to the Perrott family team just a couple of weeks before Speedweek commenced, and was runner-up in the SA Sprint Car title at Timmis Speedway in Mildura. Williamson making some ground here. They're just coming up to put a lap down on Will Carroll, sweeping around the outside of the Warrnambool hard charger, who's really started to improve in the last couple of rounds in particular. And now Garet Williamson. This is the kind of racetrack that really suits him out of Missouri. Looks to put the slider on Veal. Well, Jamie might have seen that out of the left-hand side. Just a flash of white. He drops to the bottom, this time out of 4, to try and get a run on Guerin. But once again, Williamson is right there. Garet Williamson, the young man out of Missouri, dive bombs, looking to put a slider on Veal and manages to pull it off. Jamie will switch back to the bottom to pinch that spot back. Tremendous racing here at Premier Speedway Warrnambool, the grand final round of Brandt Sprintcar Speedweek. And Williamson returns serve just as Veal comes back. This is the kind of racing we expected during Speedweek. Veal has run 4 of the 5 rounds of the series. Williamson has been contracted for the entire 5 nights, and he tries to come back at Veal in front. He's got a stack of lap cars to deal with. Down on the bottom is Jordyn Charge. Veal going for the middle now, trying to make it work. Oh, Rusty Hickman in that peerless number 40 car. So we come back to your PWR Advanced Cooling Technology restart. Unfortunately, with Rusty Hickman looping, he has to go towards the back of a very long bus. Williamson alongside Veal. Oh, how close was that? Out of turn 2. Tremendous racing, and Veal just extends the lead going into turn 3. That thing driving beautifully off the left rear. Hey, here comes Marcus Dumesny. Dumesny in that black Thomas Speedway 47 is rocking. The 3rd generation racer out of Nelson in New South Wales, around a track that his dad is pretty well a god at. They've even named the Spectator Hill Mount Max after Marcus's famous father Max. Boy, look at the lead that Veal's got. Up on the top, running away with it in front of a big crowd. Now McHugh puts the slider on Dillon. Luke returns serve. Lockie stays upstairs in that Western Truck Group, number 1. Jack Lee running in behind. Oh, Dillon got the wall. Boy, that was close right there. Luke Dillon Up on the top, Ryan Jones through the middle. Jones, the winner of the previous round at Avalon Raceway in Lara. He's got his own battle going with Jack Lee. And oh, we got trouble here again. And it's Jackson Delamont in the Mad Harry Steel car. So let's take a look back at your replay here right now. Oh man, the Gambia Earth Movers replay showing Dillon really testing the wall and his car in turn 3 and 4. So back at your PWR Advanced Cooling Technology replay and restart. Veal to lead away from Williamson. Geordie Ray. How good is he? Dumesny though, through the middle. Runs around the top and quickly shuts the door. Nice job there as we see to the left. Lockie McHugh starting to wind it up around the top. So you got Williamson, Dumesny, Ray, and look at the speed off two that Lockie McHugh has in that SRV number 1. This is the speed that has seen him become the Australian champion. He puts that title on the line very soon. Out of 2, he's right behind a previous Australian champion in Marcus Dumesny. And Jordyn Ray continuing to do a nice job down on the bottom in that Ken and Vanessa Hutchins D7. Boy, look at the speed there. McHugh is just laying it down. Marcus through the middle now. What can he do? McHugh to the top. Puts that spot back now. Dumesny moves one further back. And the one car is on a rampage. Jamie Veal, your leader, but the yellows have come on. Oh, things have gotten worse. Axle issues right here for Jackson Delamont. And a flat right rear tyre for Luke Dillon. And that's a shame because he was ripping in that Lewiston haulage SA90A car. So, our Kaiser Racing wheels restart for GW Racing and Driven Australia. We are green and back after it. Racer Industries and Cool Drive. And talk about cool drives. Lockie McHugh running the top in that one car. Williamson upstairs trying to come after Veal. Gee, McHugh is so tight. Up on the top there, millimetres away from the concrete wall. And still railing it. Geordie Ray on the bottom. How is he doing this? He's got minimal experience compared to some of the heavy hitters he's running with. He's got the top wing back on that Dirtex Industries. Number 7, Williamson, and that Chalex Holmes. KevTech Performance, Gen West entry, ripping around the top. What a great race between these two. McHugh back behind him. The final round of the championship. Brock Hallett came into this event as a possible man to run past leader Lockie McHugh, but the GW Racing 5 not able to get it done tonight. McHugh looking to power ahead with that points advantage as we came into this. Ryan Jones has been solid. White flag is out. Jamie Veal, as so often he's done around his home track, will power on to victory. Great job from the real deal. Jordyn Ray, superb for second. Back in third, Garet Williamson, Lockie McHugh, Marcus Dumesny, Ryan Jones again consistent, and that will be enough to net McHugh the series win, but Jamie Veal climbs up on the SWI Earthworks number 35 Maxim and acknowledges the fans. Mate, for a guy that's never driven that car before, it looked like it was an old favourite. Like, it was sweet on that later in that race particularly.
Yeah, it felt really good. So, yeah, boys have worked very hard, and I said, I think we've got something to contend with that car. So, just got to chase it a bit harder. Just really struggled to feel me front there at the end. But yeah, I said, like, first night out, well, I reckon we changed 12 bars tonight just to get comfortable. So, go build another one and keep going.
It's good to have you run as much as you did with us this series. I know you wanted to stay back and run the Doolan's heavy haulage series at Avalon. I'm glad you did that, but thank you for the rounds you ran with us.
Yeah, no, it's been good. It's been a good week. So hopefully the crowd enjoyed it. It's been some pretty racy tracks. So all for next year.
We got trophies, we got a check in there as well for you, and you've certainly picked up some good cash this week. Mate, congratulations. You've been very consistent, and that's been massively helpful. You had to push at Avalon, but it wasn't easy tonight either.
Yeah, no, tonight was pretty difficult, and yeah, just kind of got held up by a few people in that feature race, and yeah, a few cautions came out and got put back behind some people and just didn't really go our way. But yeah, the boys have had the car fast all week and yeah, managed to consistently finish in the top 5. So that's what you need to do to try and get one of these series wins.
Thank you so much for committing, you and Nick and all the team, and Errol and everyone at SRV for running with us this year. It's been a big effort from everybody, and we appreciate you, mate.
Thanks everyone for coming out and supporting us, and Brandt for putting together a good series for us to come run this week.
Well, you mate, congratulations everybody. Lockie McHugh, your series champion. What's the go with this?
Yeah, mate, you've been around long enough. You just do what you can and be consistent. The Mount was probably our worst race. I think we were 11th there, and we were top 10 every other night. So 2 podiums for the week and second overall in the series. Obviously, we don't like to capitalise on Brock's misfortune there. I assume he broke the rear end from the crash the other night. But credit to our race team. I'm the only full-timer on our team, and all these other guys have got 1 or 2 full-timers. So big feather in the cap to Daryl and Val Wright, the Murray Machining and Sheds and Wright Motorsport. Can't say enough about my boys for helping all week, and we believe we should be here. We just need to be more consistent at it.
Hey, 3rd place in the series. Please put your hands together for Brock Hallett. Damn, mate.
Yeah, what the night could have been. So unfortunately, came close in the B, just couldn't make it show. Just got to thank the whole GW Racing guys for their endless hours all week. All the great fans that come and stop by, and we truck to Queensland tomorrow. So yeah, we'll hopefully have a good run up there.
Please travel. So in the end, it's a tremendous drive for Jamie Veal. He had his pressure from Garet Williamson, who really showed his potential as he head back to the USA very soon for his World of Outlaw schedule as one of the potential Rookie of the Year contenders. Great drive from Geordie Ray. How good was he? In the end, the series win went to Lockie McHugh with 1,090 points, and the very consistent Ryan Jones got up to 2nd place with 890. Brock Hallett with 839 was 3rd. Luke Dillon 4th with 770. Marcus Dumesny 5th. Jamie Veal 6th. Garet Williamson, Cam Waters, Rusty Hickman, Daniel Pestka, Glenn Sutherland, Brendan Guerin, Geordie Ray, Chase Randall, and Peter Doukas rounding out your top 15. That wraps up a mega Brandt Sprintcar Speedweek for 24-25. We hope you've enjoyed our shows and the terrific racing. We can't thank Brandt enough for their support, the Speedweek teams for putting on some epic competition, the cameras, producers and broadcasters, Clay Paview, Richie, Adam, Dan, the SRA and Sprint Cars SA officials, our host Trax, and of course you the fans. It's been, as we promised, a brand new era for sprint cars. We'll see you next summer.